Greetings, everyone. I'm Brad Tolinsky, and welcome to the High Five on Herb.co. The premise is simple. We're going to dig into 5 topics with a special guest and see where it takes us. First, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Infinite CBD, makers of a wide variety of great CBD products. And the good news is Infinite is now offering 20% off any of their products to High Five viewers. Just use the code High520 at the checkout and you'll be all set. Infinite CBD, an infinitely better way to take CBD. Check it out at infinitecbd.com. Now, let's welcome our special guest. He's the driving force behind a very unusual and cool product in the cannabis universe, and he's here to tell us all about it. Let's welcome the very interesting and innovative Morris Beegle of Silver Mountain Hemp Guitars.
Cheers.
Hey, Morris, how are you doing?
Doing great. How are you doing, Brad?
Great, great, great. I love your company. Tell us a little bit about its origins and where the idea of doing this came from.
Well, I've been in the hemp industry since 2012, and I've been a cannabis user for a long time, since the mid 80s, since high school. And when I got into the hemp industry in 2012, after being in the music industry for 30 years or so, we started a merchandise company called Colorado Hemp Company, which was the first company me and my partner Elizabeth Knight launched. And from there, we launched a paper company in 2013, Hemp Expo in 2014 called NOCO Hemp Expo, which has blown up to be the largest hemp expo trade show in the world. And we started to build all these little brands out. And then coming from the music industry and being a musician myself and having a world-class guitar player brother, Dave Beegle, who I think you're familiar with. He was in a band called Fourth Estate, progressive instrumental, kind of Dream Theater meets Rush meets Satra.
Yeah. And he does a great job demonstrating your guitars on your website too. So that's
exactly. So Dave's like the top-notch guitar player. I'm a guy that likes to have fun and play Tony Iommi riffs and and that sort of thing. But there was a company in Canada called Canadian Hemp Guitars that I came across early on when we started doing NOCO Hemp Expo, and I had reached out to them. I bought a couple of their guitars, and then I asked if they would start private labeling and creating some guitars for me. So we started this relationship creating guitars as well as some ukuleles made out of hemp fiber. So it was hemp fiber bodies. From there, I connected with a company called the Hard Truckers to start making some guitar cabinets. And those guys had been making cabinets for Jimmy Herring and a variety of the jam band guys. And it's like, hey, we should start our own line of guitars and guitar cabinets and guitar accessories, coming from the music industry, doing events. And, you know, here's one more thing that hemp can do that I don't think people are really aware of. And being a hemp promoter, it's like, hey, you know, this will turn some heads and get some attention. And after working with the Hard Trucker guys, they built a bunch of guitar cabinets. And then they're like, hey, you know, we can build guitars for you too. So The guys are Michael and Dave French, and they're out of Atlanta, and Dave French has got a really cool wood shop and an expert craftsman, and Michael French is a really good guitar player and very familiar with old 60s and 70s amplifiers and cabinets.
What I wanted to maybe impress upon our viewers is that these instruments and amplifiers and what you're doing aren't a toy. They're genuine, serious instruments.
For sure, they're definitely pro gear. Right. And fortunately, having smart people around me that know more about pro gear than I do. I mean, I'm a fan of music and I play guitar, but I'm not like super critical like Eric Johnson changing out his batteries in his pedals and knowing the difference between whether it's Eveready or Duracell. You know, that's some of those guys take it to the infinite level.
Do you know enough to tell me about what makes hemp a great material for making guitars? I would imagine that, that it probably almost has better vibrational properties than straight wood.
So the guitars we're making now, there's two different types of hemp processes that we're using. One is hemp wood, made from the hemp wood company in Kentucky, and they're taking the stalks and they're basically pressing them down and binding them with a soy ink, and it's very, very hard wood. It's harder than hickory, it's harder than hard oak.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
and so we've got a top layer and a back layer of about a quarter inch each that's the hemp wood. And then in between it, we're using a hemp particle board called Canagrove from the folks at Hemp Traders. And it's a very solid, dense wood as well. And it's a very solid guitar. And we've chambered it out. And now we did a couple of strats, and now we've created our own hemp caster that's kind of a cross between the Strat and the Tele. So we don't want to get in any trouble with Fender and Gibson, because we've done a few kind of knockoff bodies. Here's a couple SGs and some Les Paul Juniors. But I think it was when me and you even had a conversation where these companies are really starting to even go after little guys that are doing boutique stuff. So it's like, we don't want Fender or Gibson or any of these guys coming after us. All we're trying to do is make cool instruments in honor and retrospect to what these guys have done before. I mean, without blatantly ripping their stuff off. But the guitar bodies they sound great. We're using Warmoth necks on them, aftermarket Fender, Tele type stuff.
What kind of pickups?
DiMarzio and these first runs. And these are all
For
boutique.
those of you who don't know what DiMarzio pickups are, they are some of the top line electronics in the guitar business. Larry's a good friend of mine, and he makes excellent pickups for people like the late Eddie Van Halen and Steve Vai and all sorts of world famous guitar players.
Everything that we're trying to build these guitar with is high end, top quality gear. I mean, we want to make professional instruments. It's not just a novelty. There is that novelty factor to it, but still a couple of modifications we want to do on these moving forward. I think we're going to add a third pickup instead of just having two pickups, and maybe do kind of the Brent Mason, Frankenstein-y type thing.
Yeah.
It's like, there's people that who've modified things. It's like, that's really a cool idea, and it just gives a little bit more versatility.
I've been following you guys for the last couple of years, and I see that the product has been changing and evolving, and even the look. And I felt like not only the shape of the design, but the actual stain that you guys are using is quite unique and sets you apart. Did you have any input on that?
Yeah, I've worked really close with the French brothers. Again, they're great guys out of Atlanta, and we've gone back and forth. What do you think of this? What do you think of this? And they've been great to work with. So, and we're going to continue to do this and make little tweaks. And as far as like the stain goes, one of the cool things about this wood, not only is it, it's made out of hemp, but all the lacquer is a water-based lacquer. All the glues are water-based glues. And it's a completely green, eco-friendly guitar, and it's grown, manufactured, processed, everything in the United States.
Who do you see this guitar for? Do you have a certain kind of player in mind, or do you see it being something that everybody can enjoy, or is it for the jam band guys, for the blues guy, the heavy metal guy?
I would say that it's pretty diverse. It could be in a lot of different players' hands. It is pricey initially. I mean, they're going to retail for like $3,000. So
right.
It's not going to be able to be affordable for everybody. Robbie Krieger has got a cannabis company right now, and he's shown interest in checking out our guitars and our instruments and stuff. So I'd love to have Robbie play one of these things. I mean, he's more of an SG guy, but I think that he would appreciate one of these guitars. And I think there's a lot of people that will appreciate it once they get it in their hands.
Tell me a little bit more about the amp, because the amp business is a little newer than the guitar business.
Correct. So we just created the combo amp this year and got it in actually, I believe, end of August, beginning of September. So I haven't got that much time to toy around with it. My brother Dave's got it in his studio, and he's been A-Bing it back and forth against stuff, and he really likes it. He's played on a couple records with it so far. He's really found that the tone's quite good and stands up to a lot of kind of the 60s Fender stuff. You know, it's open back. It's got a really great clean tone, but it's also got a good dirty tone too. Not as much of a modern metal type thing, but more of your classic, let's say, Jimmy Page, or even some of the Sabbathy type stuff where it's just good kind of British heavy 60s, 70s type rock guitar tone.
For our nerdy viewers out there, how many watts, how powerful is the amp?
It's 35 watts.
35
so it's the
watts.
SM35.
Yeah, that's healthy. You don't need any more than that. You can do some damage in a room with 35 watts.
Sure. It's plenty loud. And the knobs go up to 11. So when you have it at 11, it's right there from a rock standpoint.
Morris, would you rather be able to breathe underwater or have the agility of a cat?
I think I'd rather be able to breathe underwater because I'm in Cabo right now and I'm right by the ocean, and I'd rather be able to breathe underwater.
You wouldn't need to put on the snorkel or anything like that.
No, great scuba diving around here from what I understand. And then I could go do that without a tank or anything.
Thank you for taking some time out with us. I love to hear people using cannabis in different and innovative ways. I'm waiting to get one of the guitars in my own hands so I can try it out and hear how this guy sounds for my own ears. And I'd like to thank you for taking your time out from your vacation in Cabo to spending some time with us. Mr. Morris Beegle from Silver Mountain Hemp Guitars and Amplifiers now. Thank you for being with us. And I'd like to thank our sponsor, Infinite CBD, makers of a wide variety of great CBD products. And the good news, as I said earlier, is Infinite is now offering you 20% off of any of their products. Just type in the code HIGH520 at the checkout and you'll be all set. Thank you, Morris.
Thank you. Rock on.
Okay, cheers.